The sky over Israel was deceptively calm, but the distant rumble hinted at something far more ominous. Missile launchers deep in Iran, standing like silent sentinels, waiting for the command to unleash their deadly cargo. Iran's arsenal, comprising thousands of ballistic and cruise missiles built over decades, struck fear into Israeli defense planners, an ever-growing threat they knew too well, but were still grappling to fully comprehend. In 2023, U.S. Air Force General Kenneth McKenzie revealed before Congress that Iran possessed over 3,000 ballistic missiles. While the exact number and full capabilities remain unknown, the reality is chilling. And now, just 2 years later, that number had only grown. The missiles, some capable of carrying warheads weighing over a ton, could strike targets hundreds of miles away with devastating precision. But it wasn't just about numbers. Iran's missile program was evolving. The Shahab-3, once the backbone of their arsenal, had become old news, replaced by newer, deadlier variants like the Ghadar and Imad. Capable of striking within 300 meters of their target, these new missiles were terror in waiting, and Israel knew it. Then came whispers of something even more dangerous: the Fatah 1. Iranian media boasted it could travel at Mach 5 times the speed of sound, capable of eluding any defense system with its maneuverable warhead. It was said to be a missile that could elude any defense, a maneuverable warhead that could adjust its path to dodge interceptors. But experts remained cautious, unsure if Iran would dare deploy such a weapon on the battlefield. Yet, the thought lingered. If they did, the consequences could be catastrophic. On Israel's side, defense forces stood vigilant, well aware of the looming threat. Their Iron Dome had long proven itself, intercepting rockets with remarkable success. But it wasn't designed for the ballistic missiles Iran was now preparing. Beyond Iron Dome, Israel relied on David's Sling, a joint project with the US to handle medium-range threats, though even it had limits. Israel's most advanced systems, Arrow 2 and Arrow 3, were developed specifically to counter ballistic missiles. Arrow 2 intercepted threats in their terminal phase, while Arrow 3 could take them out in space before re-entry. But even these cutting-edge systems were facing an evolving enemy, one that adapted and grew more dangerous with each passing year. The night the missiles came, Israel's skies erupted in chaos. Anti-missile systems scrambled as radar blips turned into reality. It wasn't just Iron Dome. Across the region, defensive systems leapt into action. U.S. Navy destroyers USS Cole and USS Bulkley, equipped with the Aegis missile defense system, fired interceptors from the Mediterranean, part of a broader strategy to shield Israel from long-range Iranian strikes. But the Iranian missiles were relentless. The Shahab-3 variants, launched with precision, arced into the sky, their warheads detached, and began their deadly descent. Israel's David's Sling and Arrow systems locked on, launching countermeasures with seconds to spare. The battle between missile and defense unfolded across the heavens, visible to the human eye and unmistakable in its implications. For Tehran, this was more than just a military engagement. It was a test, a show of force to the world. Each missile fired was as much propaganda as it was warfare, a symbol of Iran's growing strength.
What military and political decision-makers deem logical, wise, and right will be done in due time. It was done, and in future it will be done again if necessary. What our armed forces did was the minimum punishment for the usurping Zionist regime's astonishing crimes. The vampire, wolfish regime, America's rabid dog in the region.
Even the mere claim of using the fatter one in the attacks sent shockwaves through military circles. Whether or not the missile had actually been used didn't matter. What mattered was that the world believed it could be. For Israel, the once impenetrable defense systems were straining under pressure. The layered defense, while formidable, was showing cracks. The question now was, how much longer could they hold?
Iran has twice launched hundreds of missiles into our territory in one of the largest ballistic missile attacks in history. No country in the world would accept such an attack on its cities and citizens, and nor will Israel. Israel has the duty and the right to defend itself and respond to these attacks, and it will do so.
With Iran's missile technology advancing at a rapid pace, Israeli strategists were faced with a sobering truth. They could no longer afford to assume their defenses would hold forever. The threat was evolving faster than they could adapt. As the smoke cleared and the skies returned to an eerie calm, one thing was clear. Iran had reshaped the balance of power in the Middle East. Their missile arsenal was no longer just a regional threat. It was a symbol of military prowess, a reminder that Tehran would not be easily subdued. For Israel, the fight for survival was no longer just about maintaining its defenses. It was about facing an enemy whose capabilities seemed to grow stronger with every launch.